This is Idiots with Opinions. Idiots may vary. What's up, idiots? It's your boy Todd and your boy Tuscan back at it again with another cool new podcast called Idiots with Opinions. It's where we talk about the world and the wacky things about it. Tuscan, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling all right, Todd. I'm feeling all right. I just got off work, hustled home, briefly stopped by the bank, and I know you're on a time crunch today, so we're getting this out.
We don't need to worry about that right now. Right now, we're on Idiots with Opinions time, and that means that we're chill and cool.
Also, I noticed that at the top there, you started calling our fans idiots. That's what we're going with now, right?
That's what we're going with.
I think I'd forgotten.
We talked about that a couple episodes ago.
We did talk about that. I forgot we had decided on that. Well, I like it.
We got to implement it if we're, we have all these ideas and we just got to do it, You got to start.
That's right.
Motivation by Todd Schlegelmilk.
So I found these just for you. The stories I found are from like a few days ago. Not that it matters.
Oh, yeah.
We record a little early. I just, when we were thinking about putting out an episode, I found a few stories. And now I am just reopening them because these links have been open on my Google Chrome for a while, and I started very rushed.
Hey, it's all good.
We're all reloading. Anyway,
we did have the Super Bowl was this last Sunday. What did you think about the Super Bowl, Tuscan?
Well, I threw a party.
Yeah.
I had fun at the Super Bowl party I threw. The game was not fun to watch.
No, it was really boring.
But I think I might be the only person in the country who truly enjoyed the halftime show.
Really?
Did you like it?
I thought it was all right. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention that much. And I know a lot of people got really upset because they didn't do the entire Sweet Victory song by SpongeBob and the gang.
So I love that that's how they started it off. That was perfect.
Yeah, but that was
fantastic.
I think they had said that they were going to do the whole song. Which that's the only thing I understand. Like, I was not really expecting them to do that whole thing, but then somebody was like, yeah, they said that they were going to do it all, so they just kind of teased us.
God, that is a good song. I actually downloaded that song and listen to it sometimes.
That's a great episode of SpongeBob. I think anyone who wants to do comedy writing for television, I think they should study that episode because it's very well written.
I don't know if you're being facetious.
I'm not.
Truly agree with that.
I'm not. I think it's a well-written episode. They take all the characters from the show that they've established, and they use them really, really well. And yeah,
Squilliam Fancy Son.
Yes. And for all the old people who don't know what we're talking about, SpongeBob is a television show for children about a sponge that lives in the sea.
That's right. It's got some adult humor that you do not pick up on as a child. And I think that's what makes it really good, because it's not really written for children, or at least the first few seasons weren't. Now it's 100% written for children, and it's not nearly as funny. But the first few seasons were written for people, right? And I love it when kids show writers do that. They write jokes that are appropriate for kids, but that make them laugh. Yeah. They think they're funny. They don't think, what is a child going to find funny?
You know what I mean? That's a perfect segue into my first story. It's pretty small. Get a load of this.
All right.
In Universal, Florida, there is a new, they have these trolls. Like, you know how they have people who dress up?
Yeah.
They have these trolls.
And are you talking like internet trolls, or are you talking like under the bridge?
Like the trolls that
with the hair.
Yeah, like the troll dolls from back in the 90s, 80s, I don't remember.
The time when I did not buy them.
Yeah, exactly.
Anytime.
But there is a troll doll there that is completely naked and farts glitter. And that's its whole appeal. And I want to get your opinion on this, because I feel like this is not like a huge deal, but it kind of reflects the minion generation that we are in. And I absolutely hate it. I totally agree with what you were saying about like writing jokes for people instead of just kids, because these kids are growing up and they're hearing the minions like fart and laugh, and then these kids are like, this is the height of comedy, when it's not.
Right. No. Here's what I think, because I remember seeing, and I can't remember how this happened or what it was, but there was an advanced screening of Despicable Me, the first one. And I was too old to have been actually just watching kids movies, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so but I was like, okay, well, free tickets, because we got free tickets to this somehow. I can't remember what the situation was, but we ended up with free tickets, and my brother and I went, and we both ended up really liking it. And the Minions were kind of a side thing, and they were, they added to the comedy of that movie. I thought that it was, well done in that. But then they became the Ewoks.
Yes.
That Star Wars were, right? They became like their own thing, and they became kind of monetized. Everybody was selling them. Everybody kind of thought they were great, and so they used more of them in the later movies. And then they made their own movie.
Now they are everywhere.
And now they're freaking everywhere. They've taken over everything. Look to your left, look to your right, look behind you. There's a minion behind you. I don't know why he's there. I don't know why he's watching you. He's there all the time. They're freaking everywhere, Todd.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Man. So and they
sometimes, I don't know if you see these, like on Facebook, the older generation will have it'll be like memes for older generations. Yeah, and they'll just slap on a minion. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh.
Yep.
We're going back in comedy.
You remember Steve used to make memes all the time. You remember Steve? How could you forget Steve? Steve, my boss last summer.
Yeah. Okay.
He used to make memes all the time, but they were actually really funny memes, and they were topical and political, and he's kind of very vocal on Twitter or on Facebook about what he thinks. Mm-hmm. And they're really funny, but sometimes I'm like, dude, this is like a little too far, or whatever. He's kind of got his own thing going on, which is fine. That's Steve for you. But yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I suppose, there's a social generation that kind of happens. There's a phenomenon that happens within a generation, right? And then an older generation kind of sees what's happening, and they latch onto it, and they're like, this is what the kids are doing. And that was years ago at this point. Right. And so that catches on, and then it's all of a sudden, it's not because they're doing it that it's no longer cool. It's because they take it and they make it something else, and then it's like, I don't want to be associated with what you've made this. Mm-hmm. This is terrible. But so what? Also, I have another bone to pick with glitter, Todd. Glitter is the devil's substance. It gets everywhere. It does not come out of carpet, of skin, of clothes. If you have like a tiny bit of glitter somewhere on a piece of clothing, and you don't realize it, and you don't like beat the hell out of that clothing before you put it in the wash, that glitter gets on everything you own. Everything you own.
Remember, I think it was our junior year that we had really glittery, or maybe it was sophomore year. Anyway, do you remember?
Was it the one where you did the love potion?
Yeah,
where they had the yellow dresses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one all the show choir community knows about. But so the girls wore these dresses that had glitter all over them, but it was kind of like hidden in their dresses. It wasn't like overtly glittery, but the glitter got everywhere. And I still, to this day, will find specks of that type of glitter like on my clothes.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's awful.
Well, let's stay around high school for a minute.
Okay.
Why don't we? Not because this guy's in high school, but because he's acting like it. This man is 27 years old.
Ooh, I think I saw this headline come up today on my phone.
Did you?
Is this the suing of his parents? Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, Raphael Samuel, 27 years old, he is suing his parents for giving birth to him without his consent. Now, he is part of a larger movement. It's basically, it's an antinatalist movement, which, if you kind of look into their manifesto, their whole thing is that adults have children kind of for their own pleasure, and then they force these kids, right, to take care of themselves and live in a modern world and work and make money for a living. They basically bring you into the world without your consent, without your permission, and force you to work. Okay? That's the premise we're going off of here. So he compares the bringing you into the world to kidnapping and making you work to slavery.
Of course, naturally.
This man is a moron. But
let's not show our bias here.
Yeah. He says he's not even like, he says, I love my parents. We have a great relationship with them, right? I have a great relationship with them, but they just had me for their joy and their pleasure.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I mean, there's that, but also there's more. I don't know. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having kids for pleasure?
Yeah, I mean, even if it wants to make me happy, shoot. But, you know, I can see where they're coming from. I mean,
I can't.
You can't?
No.
Part of their rhetoric sort of makes sense if you look at it from a very, like, skewed perspective, but by and large, it's just the most moronic thing I've ever seen. I don't understand how your logic brings you to, you were allowed to live, and therefore you're mad about that. It's like, if you...
Well, how do they want us to fix this problem? Like, ask babies if they want to be in this world, and then
no.
if they goo gaga once, then they're in?
They're not even... It's coming out of India, right?
Or they talk to their sperm.
This portion of the movement. Huh?
They talk to their sperm and ask them if they want to become a baby.
Well, it's not even about consent. They're just anti-natal. They don't want anybody to have kids.
Oh, so they want human extinction.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, all right. That's fair.
Right. It's like a Thanos thing. It's like, oh, it's better for the world if humans aren't here. It's like, no. No. That's stupid. I don't understand. I don't understand your logic there. I mean, sure, you know, things would be fine if humans weren't here, but you want everybody to stop having children. You want forced, what do you call it, castration, and then everybody just dies off within the next century, and that's it. That's it for everybody.
And then everyone's really sad too, because a lot of people, I assume it means like they also want you to like stay away from relationships that would cause babies to be had, and all. I don't know. Well, I feel like babies, even though they are a headache and a half for me at my current age and state, I don't know. I feel like someday I'm gonna want something to care for, like a baby, whether or not I can see that now or not. I think there's something in our DNA, and this is just my opinion. I know that I could be totally wrong here, but I feel like there's something in our DNA that like kicks in at a certain age of like needing to be like a fatherly human being.
100%. That's part of puberty. I mean, that's kind of why a lot of girls, think that babies are cute and they want to take care of them, and why a lot of guys kind of get this urge to be fathers at some point.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
eventually.
It's better kind of, this might sound controversial. It's better evolutionarily for guys to go around and just sleep with as many women as possible,
because they have
as many people pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have any gestation period. It's like, an hour or 45 minutes, and you can go impregnate somebody else.
That's way back in the olden times, they had like, what was it called? Like midwives? No, not midwives. The concubines.
Concubines?
Yeah.
Concubines. Yeah. I don't know if concubines were so much for having additional children as they were for just kings to have pleasure, but
No, I think they were for more children, to have more kids. But I mean, there's also that aspect. I don't know. I'm
don't
an idiot
either.
with an opinion. And
but
also
100%
like
it's just a hormonal thing.
I do think that we have changed as humans to need more of an emotional like response as our ethics have changed. I think our like needs have changed as well. But that's just
I think that's 100% societal. Although human babies are so difficult to care for that I wouldn't be surprised if sort of innately in our makeup there's some sort of mammalian response for an entire village to raise a child, everybody to pitch in, because when we were tribal, basically a woman who was pregnant and who had kids would have help from other women, and the men would be out hunting and that sort of thing, and that was kind of not their responsibility, but they would bring home food for the tribe and stuff like that, and then create more offspring, and that's kind of how everybody's alive today.
So Tuscan, in your opinion,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that males are meant to be polyamorous in
That's
modern day?
Not in the modern day. I mean, it's just not societally acceptable. But I think that the men who were polyamorous and had that urge to be polyamorous and had the strength, maybe not the strength. What's the word I'm looking for? Sort of the instinct to be polyamorous. Then those are the ones who carried on their genome, right? Because they had so many kids that just by evolution and by natural selection, the ones who didn't have as many kids their bloodline didn't carry on quite as much as the guys who had a ton of kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose yes. I would say yes, but I really don't know the science, to be quite
Nor
frank.
do I. And that's why we are just, again, we're idiots with opinions, and that's just what this show is about.
we do.
Diving deep into these topics of whatever spurs it from wild, wacky news that we get to read. And Tuscan, I want to talk about another crazy thing that I read. There's a Hawaii lawmaker who is proposing every year the age for being able to buy cigarettes is going to go up until 2024, where he wants banning sale to cigarettes to anyone under 100 years old.
Gotcha.
So
Why?
because like cigarettes are harmful, and so he's saying it's our duty as public servants to stop people from poisoning themselves, because it's also like an addiction, a very addictive substance, and so therefore we need to stop people from, or free people from this addiction enslaving them, and eventually killing them. So so from in 2020, under his bill, the minimum smoking age would increase to 30. And then in 2021, it would increase to 40. 2022, it would increase to 50. 2023, it would increase to 60. And 2024, it would increase to 100. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the math for me doesn't line up, because you have to, it catches up with habitual smokers that have been doing it for years quite quickly.
Yes.
Right? You said by 2020 or by 2022 it's 60?
No, 2023 it's 60. 2022 it's 50.
Got it. Yeah, it catches up to those people really quick. I don't don't think anybody like that's going to vote for it.
This
You might
doesn't
as well
apply
just put-
to electronic cigarettes, by the way.
Okay.
It would just be
Fair.
like, yeah,
Tobacco,
OG
rolled tobacco.
cigarettes. Which
Got it. That I can understand. Why would you not just push for legislation that outlaws cigarettes in that case?
Because it's easier to wane people off than completely stop it in the first place. Plus, I don't see how the powerful cigarette companies are even going to let this happen.
No, it'll never go to the floor. It won't get enough votes. That's just, yeah.
Then what's the point of doing this?
There's no point. I
No.
mean, it's not a thing that'll happen.
If I want to stick my hand down a fish's throat, no one's going to tell me I can't.
If I want to stick my hand in a hole and bring a fish out, ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't.
That's right.
Anyway,
That's
yeah,
my view
no,
on it. But I understand the other point.
It's something. I mean, I'd get behind it.
Really?
You know? I'd get behind outlawing cigarettes. It's about as harmful as it gets.
Yeah.
You know, if you're
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many drugs that don't do any harm that are outlawed, and if you're gonna outlaw those ones, it's like, all right, well, let's start with cigarettes then, because we can all agree and see for ourselves that causes harm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we go the opposite direction and just legalize everything and make it fine. But if we're gonna have, things that hurt us, and we're gonna put soft padding on all the walls in human civilization, and make sure everything that could possibly kill us is just outlawed and nobody can get their hands on it, then go ahead and outlaw cigarettes. Start there. People will continue growing tobacco. People will continue rolling tobacco, selling tobacco, and smoking it. It'll become a black market item. You're going to have a lot more work for police officers. A bunch of Americans still smoke. It's just not going to be worth it. So go ahead and outlaw it, see what happens, and 10 years later, when you have a mafia that's run by these giant moguls that used to run cigarette companies and now just sell cigarettes to individuals, then you'll realize that you're spending money on a lost cause. You feel me?
Yeah, I don't think that it would help. I just don't think that any of it's going to work. And
no,
what's the point?
There's no point
anymore, Tuscan.
I truly don't get it.
You know what they say? Since the opposite of pro is con, the opposite of progress is Congress.
That's right, Todd, and that's why they'll never pass it. So, let's talk about the government a little bit more.
Can't wait.
We're going to a different department. We're going to the executive branch now, and we're going to talk about the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Yum.
We had some FBI agents break into a man's house. Not break into a man's house, but they were executing a search warrant, and they were searching a man's house when they found, and this is a man who lives in Houston, by the way. They found 3,178 embalmed human penises in this man's house.
What?
Yeah. 54-year-old Dave Murray is a mortician at the Harris County morgue, and he basically is implicated in being a part of a giant human trafficking network, human organ trafficking network, and I guess this guy's got some weird fetish for the
phallus.
flagellum.
Yes, flagellum. Interesting. Wait, so he's like selling these things? He's keeping these specific parts and selling other parts? Is that what you're saying?
It's not clear.
Because I have heard that, a human body on the black market is pretty expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure a human body on the black market's quite expensive.
Tuscan, if there's ever a time where I am going to die, I just know I'm going to die, I will give you my body to sell in the black market for millions of dollars.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah?
I'll take it. But I will probably be accused of murder, so,
That's
true.
true.
Going to go straight to lawyers.
Yeah.
So,
But hey, you have proof on recording
oh, that's true.
right now.
That's true. But also, the FBI has proof that I have conspired to sell your body. So, I'm finding cons everywhere here, Todd. Also, who the hell do I call?
That's a good question. Well, I
Yeah.
feel like you'd have to go on the dark web.
Yeah, how do you get to that?
You ask some hacker. I don't know.
Yeah.
The
Is it
dark
just a
web is
dude?
crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've seen. You ever watch The Modern Rogue on YouTube?
No.
They make some good stuff. There are a few of their episodes where they talk about getting onto the dark web, and they have this hacker that they kind of talk to every once in a while. And the hacker's like, all right, all you need to do is download this software, and then that basically blocks your VPN. And then you download this software, and all of a sudden you have access to all the websites that browsers won't let you access. You can get all sorts of illegal crap here. You can do all sorts of weird business transactions. Nobody can trace you, and you are completely on the dark web right now. And they're like, oh my God, that was so easy. That's all you need to do. It's like, yep, that's it. That's it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. So maybe, but I don't even know, like, once you get there, there's no search engine, right, on the dark web?
You're talking to the wrong guy for any of these questions, but I mean, we can look it up, I guess.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Let's see. Here.
I'm sure that's the sort of thing where you need to, like, know where you're going before you get there.
Have you ever
You
just
know
like
what I mean?
heard or like watched or listened to or read any stories about just like people and their experiences with the dark web?
Nope.
Pretty wild.
Pretty wild and wacky.
How?
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that you just kind of you hear about, people kind of reference. It's there, you know it goes on, but you have absolutely no knowledge of what it actually is. You feel me? That's how I
Yeah.
feel about it.
Okay, so I have found the most trustworthy article on how to search things on the deep web. It's from WikiHow.
WikiHow.
Yes.
Do they have illustrations?
Yes.
Perfect.
Have you ever watched that? I think it's a Drew Gooden or a Danny Gonzalez video about WikiHow. It's good. I would recommend.
I have not.
Okay, locate databases with an ordinary search engine. Is it data or data, Tuscan? End
It
this
is
debate right
data.
now. Data? Locate databases with an ordinary search engine. Okay. Similar term. Blah, blah, blah. Use more specialized search for databases. And then research using the computer at an academic library. What?
Academic library? That's where you want to go? Just
Yes.
use a VPN.
Oh, and then you go okay. There's different methods. The Tor network.
Okay.
So, have you heard of like Tor? It's the onion
I've heard of
route.
torrent.
The onion something? I think that's what it stands for.
I've heard of Tor.
Yeah.
That's
So that's like the thing that you use to browse.
Right.
Accessing this area of the deep web is legal, although that may not apply to activities you participate in there.
Yeah, no, you can go on the internet. Nobody gives a damn. But it's when you start buying drugs and selling human corpses and watching child porn.
Yeah, but like man, scary when people can just see that you're there,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can get your information.
That's why you get the VPN,
Yeah,
which a good hacker can still find you with a VPN, I'm sure.
yeah.
But it makes it a lot tougher. You got to like really be looking.
You are never protected 100% from being hacked.
Of course not. I suspect you're more vulnerable once you go onto the dark web. People kind of see where you're
100%,
at.
yeah.
Todd, do you know who else is involved very, very strongly in the deep web? He runs a whole business out of there. I don't know what he sells, but
I have no idea who that could possibly be.
that's Karl Westberg, Todd. He's all over the deep web. If you've ever seen any of those sketchy sites that you really don't know if they're actual websites or if it's just some page with a bunch of weird images and text, and I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, that's Karl Westberg. He runs it, and he also sponsors our podcast, probably from money he gets on the dark web. Maybe we should get him investigated.
No, I don't want to go down that road.
You don't want to go down that road?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about this later. We'll talk about this off the air. He's a sponsor of today's podcast. He's a great guy. We all know and love him. And if you want to get in contact with us, kind of reach out, let us know where you are, so we can come find you and just say hi. We promise. That's all we're gonna do. There's no sketchy business about sending us your exact GPS coordinates at any time of the day. Go ahead and send those over to studiosvolatile@gmail.com. And if you want to find us on Twitter, we're at Opinions That Suck, SUK, or on Instagram. See a lot of Todd's nice Photoshop work at Idiotic Opinions on Instagram. Todd, have you anything else for this afternoon?
No.
Well, that'll do it, folks.
You've been listening to Idiots with Opinions. Tune in next week